All right, welcome everyone. I think we've got all of our students and parents back. Welcome. Please come on in and have a seat. Welcome to your last session of orientation. I hope it's been a good morning and early afternoon here for you, and you've gotten lots of good information. Students got courses that you were hoping and looking for. Yeah, please come on in and grab a seat. This is our Residence Life Living on Campus session. So welcome. So my name is Aaron Mackey, and I am the Associate Dean of Students and Director for Residence Life here at St. Thomas. And I've been here for a little over 20 years doing a whole variety of different things on campus, including being where you are students. I'm a Tommy, so I did my undergrad schooling here, and I did master's and graduate work here as well, too. And then I've been doing a variety of roles. I coached men's soccer for a while, and I've served some different positions in campus life, and now here in housing for a number of years. So parents and students, as you're listening to some of the items I'm talking about, and as you're thinking about your day and you're thinking about coming to St. Thomas, please utilize myself and all the different folks that you have met throughout the day and kind of during your time here being onboarded at St. Thomas to get all the questions answered that you need. We just want to make sure that you walk away here from orientation feeling really good about coming in here this fall, having the information that you need and getting the questions answered that you need. And that includes sending us emails and phone calls after this as well, too. So I've got a number of things that I'll cover here today. Some of it's about kind of the experience that you all as students will be hoping for and expecting when you come. And then we'll finish with some logistic information about what are some next steps and some different move-in information for you. So as you all know, we have a 2-year residency requirement, thus why you are in this room here in part. That includes the first year and the second year. You will have some classmates that will be commuting from home, so there are a number of first-year students, about 80 of you, that will also be commuting from home due to different personal or family circumstances, due to financial situations. If any of you find yourself coming to those situations between now and move-in, please reach out to us and let us know. It's a small number, but we do want to make sure that we make exceptions when those are needed. That residency and your housing in this first year will continue into that second year as a second-year student here at St. Thomas. Again, if different things come up for you personally, financially, et cetera, where you need to look into that housing exception process, please let us know. We want to make sure you're in the right environment for you, that's a comfortable environment for you so that you can engage in this journey here of 3, 4, 5 years or whatever that might be. As you know, in your first year here, you have a first-year experience, so you came back from registration, you have a first-year experience course that you're part of, you're in a living learning community or a theme-based learning community path. There's a whole variety of different out-of-the-classroom co-curricular experiences that you'll have in that first year, so a pretty robust first-year experience. That will continue into the second year. It's a little different. It's not a course that you have per se, but it's a whole series of things that we're going to want to engage you in, and we're going to start to shift it from what would be a first-year transition type of program to, now that you're here, what's your academic plan, declaring a major, looking at minors, making sure you have an academic plan that gets you graduating in the time frame that you and your parents want you graduating in. We're going to start looking at more career and life preparation items, getting that resume going if you don't already, doing some interviewing, skill development, thinking about what your kind of calling and vocation and life might look like after St. Thomas. So we start to move into those different pieces. Here, coming this fall, you'll be in these 4 first-year halls. You have likely seen one of them at some point in time if you've toured campus, probably likely not all 4 of them. In my 20-some years being here, it's the first time I get to say to an orientation group, these are all new spaces. So Tommy North is a newly constructed first-year hall as of a couple years ago. 2 years ago, we renovated Ireland Hall entirely. I don't know if there's any parents in the room that may have lived in Ireland Hall, but you know it was due for a renovation, and it got it. It's wonderful. Dowling Hall was fully renovated as well. It opened here this last January, so we had students living in there in the spring, but you'll be the first group, as a first-year group, coming in the fall to live in it. Fantastic renovation. And then Brady Hall's under renovation right now. Should be done sometime here in August. So sorry we can't get you in there, but if you've seen any pieces of Dowling after the renovation, it's going to be a very similar type of situation. So 4 halls for the first years. As you go to live in that second year, that kind of expands a little bit to a whole variety of different halls. And instead of us assigning you into a space, you'll self-choose. So you'll pick the hall, pick the room, pick your roommate. It's a web-based system, and you go in and you pick based on what's available. So there's a couple different halls on our South Campus. We say south, it's not that far away. It's where our science and engineering and STEAM buildings are going to be. We've got a mid-campus, which is that space between Summit and Grand Avenue, Cretin and Cleveland, and there's houses, small, large apartments, so kind of a random group of spaces. Up here to our north, we've got Flynn Hall and Morrison Hall, two large residence halls, suite-style and apartment-style halls, and then new 2 years ago is Fry Hall, used to be called Tommy East, and that's a suite-style space. So thinking about as you go through that first year, you're currently going to be living in lots of community space, shared bedrooms, shared community bathrooms, shared study rooms, shared everything. And then you get into that second year, and it's still going to be shared. You'll still likely have a roommate, but now instead of maybe a community bathroom of 16, it's 4, 5, or 6. It might be within the unit, just out in the hallway. More kitchen opportunities. A lot of you will probably reduce your meal plan down and do a little bit more cooking and grocery shopping and some things like that that kind of get you adulting a little bit more. Also saves a little bit on the expenses, parents. So the experience just starts to shift and change. And what we want you to do is have these first 2 years living on campus where you really get immersed, meet lots of folks, lots of connection, and really start to build a great foundation for when then either living on campus junior, senior, or likely moving into some kind of rental situation, but you'll be prepared to do that. We have a team of folks. You've likely mostly only been working with us in our central office, so I as the director, a team of folks that are working on assignments and living learning communities and theme-based learning communities or whatnot. We'll stay with you here for a few more weeks in terms of getting you housing assignments and being able to answer any questions that you might have, so that will be your point of contact. And then we'll start to transition in about mid-August to our live-in team. So you'll be moving into a residence hall that has an adult master's level professional who lives in that hall, oversees the staff, oversees all the curriculum, oversees all of you in theory. Someone that you may have contact with, may not, may have a lot, may have a little, but just know, parents mostly, we've got an adult professional that's in all of these 4 spaces. Students, your most interaction will be with our RAs, so our resident advisors. These are undergraduate students, 2nd, 3rd, 4th year students, student leaders who we bring in, train, prepare for their time with you. They're going to live actually in your community. So if you're in a community of, say, 30 other students, in terms of who you're living next to and around, they'll be in that community. And they're going to be a great resource for you. They got, some peer education. There's going to be some money involved in it, but a lot of it is someone to go to ask questions of, what do I do? How do I do it? Things might come up in terms of challenges. They're a great point of contact for you outside of what might be a peer friendship group. And then we have a residential connection team. If any of you did like student government or student council or different things like that in high school, it's a similar type of situation here. These are paid internship positions, so great for the 2nd, 3rd year in particular. Within our halls, we have what we call community event boards, and these are volunteer positions. So I'm sure you've heard a dozen times today, get involved, but what does that look like? So one way to do it is right in your living community, get involved in our community events board. You and 10, 15, 20 other folks will put on events, social events, connection events for the other people in the hall. One, it's a great way to meet people on the board and make some friends and build some connection. It's also, because you'll be putting on the different events, a great way to meet those who come to the different events too. Our hope for all of you is that you move into a space, you live in a space that feels safe to you, that feels respectful to you, a space that you can feel a sense of belonging. This is a new situation for all of you, and all of you are in this together in terms of it's a 9-month transition of having a roommate other than maybe a sibling, being in a community living environment more than maybe a summer camp or some situation. So it's going to be very new. And you're going to have lots of new thoughts and feelings and challenges that might come up. Because of that, we need to make sure that that environment is an environment that you feel really good in. We know that the academics will never work, and we know this because we've been doing this a long time. If you don't feel good where you live, where you dine, where you socialize, who's around you, if that feels good to you, the chances of flourishing in the classroom go way up. When that stuff is a challenge or a concern or an issue, then we know the academics also become a lot harder. So that's our hope for you. We also are going to ask you to partner with us on this. Again, because you're all in this new situation, coming here together from different backgrounds and different personalities and different experiences and different goals, how do you come together then to really treat each other well, with respect, with kindness? to include. So get involved and also be someone who helps others be involved. You might be coming here with a group. It might be a team, it might be a group from high school, it might be friends, it might be people you met on Facebook, and you feel like, I've got my group, I'm good, not a problem, I'm not worried about that stuff that you're talking about. That's great, that's wonderful, I hope it stays that way, and include some other folks into that group. Because you might also be coming here not knowing anyone. And that's the majority of you, and that's just fine. That's good, right? You're not coming with a huge group from high school, maybe. You're not jumping into a team right away in the fall or a different situation. You're coming here, and you're a little anxious and a little nervous about how this is all going to work out. And you're hoping that some of those folks who kind of got a little group will help to include you and make that a little bigger group. You might be someone coming and you've got a roommate, and you're feeling good about that roommate, but how do you expand that circle? Again, you be inclusive, others will be inclusive, treat each other well, and this can be a wonderful experience for you. I'm also a parent of a student here. I forgot to mention that earlier. So I had a first year come in last year. He's going to be a second year. I got 2 others in high school. And these are the same conversations we have. And I know that people have been saying this to you through grade school, middle school, and high school. And it's all true. And there's a lot of similarities, and there's a lot of differences. So please go into this with an open mind and an open heart so it can be the best experience for you and for those around you. Our RAs and our team, our Residence Life team, are going to engage you in a variety of different things. We call this the Tommy Advantage. It's part of the first year experience. You'll meet with your RA one-on-one throughout the year at different times. As I mentioned earlier, it's a chance to ask questions, get some answers. It's a time for RAs to get to know you a little bit better. What are some of your goals? What might be some challenges that you're facing? We want to make sure we stay current with you as you're going through this journey so that if things do come up or do pop up that become an issue for you, it's not too deep that we can't resolve it or can't make a plan with you or can't get you over that hump. So we want to stay in contact with you. Roommate agreements are something we'll start right away in August, so we'll send it to you ahead of time. It's kind of a rubric, if you will, for you and your roommate to go through to ask lots of different questions. How do we want to use our room? What do we want to share or not share? How are we going to communicate with each other if conflicts arise? This has been something that all of us at colleges and universities have seen a dramatic uptick in the last few years. COVID did not help it. Gen Z demographics and everything else in terms of how you all communicate is all working against some of these traditional higher ed kind of models. And so how you all communicate with a roommate in a space that you've likely never been in with someone else for that period of time is something we're going to spend a lot of time with you on. We want you to know that that relationship does not have to be perfect. It will not be perfect. They may be your best friend for life. They may not be your friend at all again after the year is over. But whatever it is, we need to find a way for it to be healthy while you're in it. There aren't other rooms to move to. There aren't other roommates to go find. There's nowhere to run. So you're in this room, you're in this space, and if things start to come up, we want to help you talk through what those are. Our RAs are there to help mediate those conversations. We do have several of these throughout the year. Mostly, though, helping you communicate effectively with your roommate takes care of a lot of this. Parents, what you can do to help all this is just do a little role modeling of this in the next few weeks, have some conversations with your students here about what are you okay sharing and not sharing? What are you okay with the way that room is being used or not being used? How will you share your thoughts and feelings with a peer of yours who's your age other than social media? How will you have these conversations? Because all this stuff is going to start to matter. If they call home and say, hey, this is awful, I need to leave, I need a new roommate, I need a new room, this is never going to work, and we're on day 3, you say, hey, talk with that RA, talk with that hall director, talk with the Res Life staff, practice some of these things we talked about. I say these things not because all of you will have these challenges, but enough do that this is an important time here at orientation as you're preparing to come to school to think about how you're going to work through those so that you can be happy once you get here. We have community meetings and communications, so we'll communicate where you bring your living community together, do some icebreakers, have you meet those who are in your community with you. It's also a time for us to share information. It might be registration information, other timeline things that you need to know here at St. Thomas. Again, your parents are playing a little bit less of a role because you're not at home each night and you don't have some of these different things where people are keeping track of you a little bit more. Your high schools and your high school teachers do a little bit more kind of micromanagement of things. Things open up here a little bit, and if you're not paying close attention, you can miss out on some pretty important stuff. So that's where we come in as well, too, to help make sure that you're staying on track when you're here. You'll have different events that you can get to throughout the year. Some of them have a learning component to it. Again, it's an opportunity to learn and grow. A lot of them will be connection-based, so social types of events for you to meet people, get involved, get to know the campus a little bit better. And then there is going to be student conduct, and the stats tell us that the majority of you will be with us for some sort of student conduct. It's not anything to worry about. It's a learning opportunity for you. We have to make sure we're upholding community standards and behavior standards. It's an opportunity for you to sit down with the community director and have a conversation about it. What we learn mostly is it's less about the behavior, and it's more about something else was going on, and it's a chance for us to dig into that a little bit as well, too. Parents have probably heard a little bit about this from my colleagues already about care and support and a care team. Students know that you don't just move in and kind of just go. We do pay attention. We've got a team of folks from across the university who will be watching for and paying attention to when challenges may get to be to a point where they get in the way of your academics. These might be social challenges, mental health, they might be financial, they might be things happening within the classroom, whatever it might be. You're going to have challenges. You've had them your whole life. You're used to getting through them. You have those skills. When they do get to a place where they start impacting relationships and classroom and grades and all that kind of stuff, just know that we do have a team of folks here who jump in and are part of resolving some of those things or helping you resolve those things. We'll get midterm grades and we'll get at the end of semester grades. So if we see some D's and some F's and some things that are red flags for us in terms of academic progress, we'll meet with you as well too. We get you an email, we set up a time. Again, it's typically less about the grade and more about other underlying issues. It might be how you're feeling here, it might be friends, it might be a professor, it might be just mental health, it might be a whole number of things. Again, if we can get at those things at midterms, it can help turn the final semester grade around. If it's something that's end of semester, we got January, and hopefully that spring gets to be a more successful semester. So in closing here, students, closing to this part of it, think about this as a learning experience all around. Kind of the good old days of I go to this classroom with these four walls and a door, and this is where I learn, and this is where I sleep, and where I eat, and where I socialize. Those days are kind of all gone. It's all included now, and technology's done this in many different ways for us too, but learning is all around you. So please approach this environment with that learning mindset. You're going to have tons of fun. You'll have lots of social connections, and if you open your mind to learning all at the various different points, this can be a great experience for you. We'll have different groups on campus. These are student intern groups, again, student leaders, so you get into that second year leadership opportunities for you that will be putting on a lot of these different learning events along with our faculty and staff colleagues. So some logistics, next steps. So at the end of this month, the week of the 25th, likely that Tuesday the 26th, you'll get an email from us. So everything now is St. Thomas email only. So students, you should be checking that St. Thomas email. Many of you likely are. There's lots of information that's already in there from us as an institution, important information, and about every day you should be checking that because we're going to keep sending you that stuff. Parents, we're not going to be communicating with you any longer. It's just going to be to your student at the St. Thomas email. So get an email about the housing assignment. You go into the housing portal, and that will tell you your hall, your room, your roommate. Some of you have roommate requests in. We do our best to honor all those roommate requests, and if we can't, we're going to let you know ahead of time because it's due to some other type of conflict, but otherwise, who you're requesting is likely who you'll get. For those who are not doing requests, which is about 50% of you, we use your housing preference information, some questions that you answered either back in April or recently, depending on when you got confirmed. Here at St. Thomas, and we match you up based on those questions. Either way, you get a roommate, and you'll get contact information for that roommate. If you don't know them already, reach out, social media, email, and just start having some conversations about, coming here and what to bring to campus and all that good stuff. Right after that, we'll send you move-in information. Parents, this will be some dates, and this will go to the students, but some dates, sign-up information, because we do have you sign up in terms of when you're moving in. Some other information about kind of what to bring and whatnot as well too. This is something we started a few years ago, just prior to COVID, when we had some big first-year numbers. Haven't really needed it the last couple years. We need it now again. This is a good-sized first-year class. And this is our item drop-off. And so it'll likely be Saturday the 27th and 28th, probably not Friday, but the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Particularly great if you're local. So if you're within an hour or two of campus and you want to make a drive in, you get to bring whatever you want. Student doesn't get to stay overnight yet. but you get to bring whatever you want. So it does several things. One, it makes things a little easier come the official move-in days when you start staying overnight. It's a beautiful campus in a beautiful neighborhood, but we are not sprawling with land to move 1,500 students in over a 1 or 2 day period of time. So we have to be pretty efficient on those days, which can be a little stressful for all of you. So this is an opportunity to get stuff in ahead of that. The benefit to you too is that you get to see the room, be in the room, and learn a little bit more about, did I bring too much? It's likely that you didn't bring too little. So did I bring too much? What needs to go home? Or I want to take a look. I bring some things, and now I know I need to go out and get this. So I might want to go shop for this or shop for that, or this is too long or this is too short. So it's a great opportunity for you to get it. Out of state, those who are coming for more than 2 hours, I'm not leaving you out. You are absolutely welcome to this. You'll get all the information. I just know that's a little bigger challenge for you to make that trip twice. But if you'd like to, you are absolutely welcome to do it as well too. Move in where you start staying overnight, and welcome days officially starts. So if you're an early arrival, you might be on a fall sports team that's moving in earlier. That's completely separate. We'll communicate with you and through your coaches in that early arrival piece. You might be a student taking a job in, say, dining services. You might be coming in a little bit early to help and to start working on campus before these days. You might be coming in for a program that, say, the Schultz School of Entrepreneurship is putting on where they, bring in some students ahead of it. So some early arrival stuff, we'll communicate that out. If you're not in that early arrival, which again will be the vast majority of you, this is when you'll start staying overnight. So living and learning community students, you have 2 days. Half of you, a little less than half of you, will be on Wednesday the 31st. The other group will be on Thursday the 1st. We'll get information out which LLCs that is. And this is when you'll move in, and then you start staying overnight, and your welcome day start. We have activities for you that night as an LLC. The next day you have activities with your faculty and the students in your course, and you start developing those relationships and start getting into some course material. Friday the 2nd, if you're in the theme-based learning community path, this is your day, again, outside of early arrival. You move in morning, early afternoon. You stay. We have some TBLC events in the afternoon. Dinner's all part of your meal plan, so it's all included at that point in time. And then you start all your welcome day events. Parents, please plan and think about calendar. So this is the move-in. This is required. We need students here on these days and beyond. So vacations, work schedules, weddings, all these different things that are at this time of year, be thinking about those because we need students here for this. If you have a conflict that you can't get around, please let us know. We want to make this work for you, obviously, but be in communication with us. Also be thinking about who's coming to campus. I mentioned we're pretty tight during move-in. So the way we do it is you don't come park 4, 5, 6 hours and move your stuff in. You pull to a location, you unload the vehicle into some moving carts, into dollies, into boxes, into the sidewalk, whatever it might be, and then you move that vehicle down to more long-term parking on our South Campus. So thinking about who's driving that vehicle, who's unloading it, who's moving it to the room. You might want to grab some sibling help or some friends or some other family or whatnot, but think about how you want to navigate that piece. I look at dads mostly when I say this because I see a lot of dads who drive the vehicle, who unload the vehicle, who think they're going to move it to the room, and then we say you have to also drive the vehicle to the parking facility. So just be thinking about all these different things ahead of time. And then welcome days, students have probably heard about this already, but this is an extension of orientation. So today's that half-day experience. We get you registered. We give you some really good information. Parents are part of the process. This here then is the second half of orientation we call welcome days, and this is when you're staying overnight and we're engaging in day-long different types of activities. So it's some things that are learning-based, some things we need you to know to be successful here at St. Thomas and to transition to St. Thomas. And then it's also a lot of opportunities just for us to connect and help you build relationships as you get into that first day of class. What to bring. So if you go out to our website, there's a move-in section, and this move-in section has some what to bring, what not to bring. It's got some really good resources for you. So on-campus marketing, OCM is a third-party vendor that works with colleges and universities where you can get bed sheets. So extra long twin mattresses, for example, is what we have. You can't just find them everywhere. You can find them both places, but you want to be aware of what it is. And there's all sorts of other stuff. There's blankets and pillows and things to kind of decorate your room. Bedloft.com, Collegiate Marketing Incorporated, will rent you a micro fridge, mini fridge type of situation. So it's a refrigerator, freezer, microwave, all one unit, one plug. It's really great, and they bring it to your room before you move in, and they take it away from your room when you move out. That's the best part of all of it. You are free to bring a mini fridge if you like to from home. You just got to get it to the room, and you got to get it out. You got to make sure it's the right wattage and everything else. We have that information online. Or you can rent from them, and they get it right into your room. It's a really nice situation, and it gives you a microwave and a freezer and a refrigerator. So there's some information like that on our website that's really good for you. There's a guide to sustainable living. All trying to do our part as part of our strategic plan. So there's a good guide out there in terms of what to bring and not to bring, some good information for you. There's also some things that we really want you to stay away from. So the holiday lights, the rope lights, these decorative lights that have become a thing in the last 5 years, in no part thanks to TikTok, and they're terrible for walls. So bottom line is, don't bring them, don't use them. You're going to tear up the wall. We're going to send you a bill at the end of the year. Your parents are going to be mad. Just avoid it altogether. If you want to do some decorative lighting in your room, bring lamps. Lamps are a great thing anyway. We provide an overhead light in these rooms, but it's industrial style, right? So if you want to have different kind of lighting for studying or for bedtime or whatever else, bring some lamps. They're a great thing. You can get ones that clip right onto the loft. You get some floor lamps, some different things like that. And if you want a colored light bulb in there, put the colored light bulb in there. But please stay away from those types of things. Think minimally in terms of what you're bringing. These are good-sized rooms comparative to college campuses, but you are not going to walk into them and think they're good-sized rooms. And there's 2 or 3 of you in there. So think minimally about what you're going to bring. You as students are going to accumulate as you live here. You will likely accumulate half to twice as much as you bring. You will accumulate. It might be stuff that we give you. It might be free stuff that you go out and buy, whatever it is. So think minimally about what you want to bring. Talk with your roommate ahead of time. Do you want to share a micro fridge? Do you want to share TV? Do you want to share gaming systems? Do you want to share lights? Those kinds of things. Have that conversation about what you will share and what you won't share and what you want to do. It's also an opportunity to know that you can usually go somewhere. So even if you're from out of state, getting an Uber to, we're in the Twin Cities here, we have lots of opportunities for you to go and add on to that room. But bringing too much at the beginning tends to create a challenge for you. We are a couple minutes left. If anyone has questions that for you and that might be relevant to the large group too, chances are 20 other people have it. We've all heard this. Please ask, and I can answer some of them. If there's something that's really specific to your situation, we have orientation leaders that are out and about here, and I'm here, and I'll stick around too, so you can always come and ask us some of those things too. Do we have any questions that would be good for the group that I can answer? Okay. Only takes one brave one. We usually average 10 to 20 of these. This is, I don't know what this says. This is good. This is the smartest of our orientation groups. They got everything figured out. That's what we'll roll with. That's wonderful. Thank you for being at orientation for this session here. We really look forward to having you come and live and learn on campus with us this fall. Please drive safe, and we are here for you if you need any information or have any questions. Thank you, everyone.